Hello friends, this is me, Anil Polsani. Thanks for joining back our YouTube channel, guys. And today we'll be discussing or we'll be elaborating more of the interview questions. But this time we'll be doing it in the English language, guys. Last time we have uploaded multiple questions on this particular document, but most of them are in the Telugu language and some of people are requesting on English, right? So we'll start over, guys. We'll see this document. We'll add some interview questions day by day on the video channel on a short format so that instead of seeing the 1 hour video, you can see it in 10-15 minutes and then grab that knowledge and go for the next video sequentially. So in this document, guys, there are so many questions are there. Some of the questions might be repeated. I don't want to filter them here. Let the repetition happen. We will discuss one by one till the end of this document. So if I can scroll down, guys, in this particular document, I have almost 130 questions on only on COBOL DB2 module. If you see the tab down, I have a lot of questions on JSL, sort related, only DB2, only SQL, CICS as well. I'm not sure will I be able to show you all the questions. I'm not sure will I be able to go all the documents, but we'll try. We'll try as much as we want. So let's start with the first question, guys. And I have not started any question. Let it be like that. The same recordings are available in Telugu language as well, guys. We are just repeating the points in the point of English language. Okay. So that's been said. The first point or first question what we have, guys, in related to COBOL DB2, is there any limitations on how many index you have in table? No, guys, not exactly. The earlier we before version 6 and 7, I think we used to have certain limitation, but that's the DBA knowledge. As a developer, as a support person, you don't need to worry about the limitations. But please remember two reasons. Anil, when I need this index, one, you need index for all your primary key columns. Okay, this is mandatory. Second reason is when your query, guys, when you're writing a select where condition query as such, if the query is taking long time, when you write the query only on a single table, guys, it may not take much time, but sometimes you'll be using multiple tables as a joint concept. Run the query. In such a case, the query itself will take certain time to build the result, right? Sometimes it will fail because of the resource unavailable. ASU time limit exceed concept. The resource has been hold for a long time, and that's the reason your query is getting failed, timeout. So to avoid that, what we can ask the DBA is to create certain index based on the columns. We can select some particular columns and then say that this is my where condition columns and ask the DBA to create an index. Create a DBA with an index as such. Okay, this is one point. So yes, two reasons, guys. One for your primary index reason, one for your query performance reason. Now the second question is very common question. What's the difference between include and copy? Now this topic is related with your pre-compilation. And I would say, guys, all of you, please by heart what is pre-compilation. Please by heart what is bind process. Lot of questions can be related to that particular topic. So this question, guys, is about that pre-compilation only. So if you know, guys, in COBOL, whenever you want to have a copybook, you'll be using the copy statement and put the copy into the program, copybook into the program. Now, whenever you have a DB2 program, even it is a copybook, Dickelgen is a DB2 table column copybook only. In that also, you'll have the variables only. But instead of using copy statement, we'll use the include statement. So the question is, Anil, why you want to use an include statement? We can use copybook as copy statement, right? Not exactly, guys. In the pre-compilation process, there will be two separate steps. One pre-compilation step, one is compilation step. So while pre-compilation only, I need the DB2 related variables. While compilation, I need COBOL file related variables. So if I don't use include statement, okay, for example, for a copybook of DB2, if I use a copy statement, then in pre-compilation, this fellow will not expand. So in pre-compilation, system will not find your DB2 related variables. So what I do is, all my DB2 related variables, I'll use include statement. For all the COBOL related file related variables, I'll use the copy statement. This way, at the pre-compilation level only, all the DB2 variables will be available and system can create the DVRM. Whereas all the files and file related copybook variables, I need it during the COBOL compilation. So I'll be using copy statement. If at all in interview, additional external question, if they ask you, I don't want to use include statement, what shall I do? So define all the declared variables directly in the program. Once again, they may say that Anil, I don't want to use include statement in my program, but I have a DB2 table. How do you define the variables? So you don't need include or this particular concept, guys. Directly define your variables in your COBOL DB2 program. That will be solving the issue as well. But if the question is only for difference between include and copy, the answer is related to pre-compilation. In pre-compilation, first the DB2 table variables are required, then COBOL variables are required. So you need separate of them. What's my third question? How do you pass data from one program to another? Here, data type, order of passing the data to be called program can be different or not. So yes, this is not DB2 question, guys. This is a COBOL main program subprogram question. So what it is saying that how do you pass the data from one program to another? So for that question, the answer is using class. Now, why you have two questions here is this is a kind of a setup question. That means first, they'll ask you a question that, do you know this topic? You will say yes. As soon as you say yes, they'll start asking certain questions on that topic, right? So that is the reason here you have two level questions. How do you pass data from one program to another? You will be using the concept of call by reference or the concept of call by content. That is one answer. Second question they're asking you is the data type between this main program, subprogram variables, the order of passing the data between main program, subprogram, can it be different or not? So point one here, guys, point one here is if you are passing ABC as your data variables from main program, in subprogram also you need to have ABC variables. First of all, you need the memory allocation. Second thing is the concept of passing the order, right? So in the call statement, if you have used saying that call subprogram using variable A, comma variable B, comma variable C, in the procedure division line, on the procedure division line, the using class should be same exactly variable A, B, C only. The sequence of data mapping should be same. In the linkage section, you can define the variables in any order. In the linkage section, you can define the variables with a different name also. But on the procedure division line, the mapping of the variables should be mapped to your proper main program variables. That is one point. Now, why we use a cursor? What error will come for multiple row fetches? So basically, this is one of the common interview question, guys. So the reason why we use a cursor in the COBOL DB2 program is to avoid SQL code -811. COBOL, which is an old 1960 language, guys, it is designed to process one record at a time. So when you define a layout of a variable, only one memory is allocated. Whereas DB2 with a select query, which came in 1995, guys, when you run a select query, that query can retrieve more than one row. Your program is only expecting one row. Your select query is throwing more than one row. Imagine, guys, you are in a cricket field and as you're practicing, your coach or me throw you 10 balls at once. Now, having only two hands, you can only catch almost two balls, remaining 8 balls will fall, right? Same thing. COBOL program has only one memory allocation and your select query is throwing 10 rows. Of course, system can only hold the first row. For second row, since the system is not catching the second row, SQL query will fail with -811. That's what we call the concept of error handling of -811. So if I want to get more than one row, I'll define the cursor. Using the cursor, I'll be fetching one by one row into the program, right? Then what is the question? What things need to be considered while adding a new column to the DB2 table? Okay, do we need to make changes in the program having the select and insert statements? So let's see these guys, what things need to be considered while adding a new column to the DB2 table. Now this is a very big task question here. It happens and some projects very rarely it happens, but it happens, guys. Existing tables will always have some kind of changes sometimes and it may add a new field or new column. Now please remember the concept, guys. Please remember the concept. For every table there will be one declension copybook. And this declension copybook will have all the columns, whatever we had previously. and the same copybook is used in certain programs already. Okay, first point. So if you had a new column into this particular DB2 table, you will update the Dickelgen copybook, right? So when you update the Dickelgen copybook, the copybook got expanded with additional field. Since there is a change in a copybook, you know this point from the COBOL. If there is a change in the COBOL copybook, you will compile your corresponding program. So this line is properly there, guys. You change a column, you add a column to the existing DB2 table. You have to get the Dickelgen updated manually. Don't use Dickelgen tool. You need to manually update that particular copybook and add the new field or update the size, whatever it is. Since you are making a change in the copybook, that should reflect to the programs, right? So you may need to do a pre-compilation and then the updated. That is one part that we do in the project. Now the other question here is, do we need to make the changes in the programs having the select query? For select query, not required. Why, Anil? When you are selecting, guys, you will select only certain columns. Okay, select column A, column B, column C. In that program, the new column might not be required. In that particular program P1, a select is required only on one column and this new column is not at all related. So this select query will not be getting updated. So fine. Insert query, guys. Insert is one thing to check. Now in this insert query, guys, reasonably there is one point. What the query constraint is the query has the column, new column constraint is it defined as not null? Is the column is defined as not null? Is the column is defined as with default? What it is? So first of all, you will think like this, guys. If you have an existing table and you have the table with some 1000 rows, you are adding a new column. At the adding of a new column, guys, you need to ask the admin to set a default value already. Okay. Now coming to the new records, is this column is not null column? Yes, Anil. Then obviously that column should be always part of the insert query. So it will be affecting. If it is not a not null column, if it is with the default, guys, so based on your business reason, whether the data can be a default or not, based on that, this insert query need to be changed. So yes, first thing first, if they ask you if there is any change in the select query, if you need that column in the program, then you this particular programs of select query will be affected. If it is insert query, based on the reason of that column, guys, whether it is not null with the default, based on that reason, you need this insert query to use or getting changed. Now the other part what it is here is, if the column added in the table is not used, okay, do we need to change the Dickelgen? Do we need to compile all the programs? Yes. Basically, guys, if you are adding a column, okay, see, understanding, if it is not used, why you will add the column? So this question is not relevant as such, but to be frank, maybe they want to add it today, use it later. Okay, they have a change some another case, and in the point of change, they want to add this column as well, part of that change itself. But they don't want to use today, they want to use later in another requirement. But in that case also, guys, you need to make sure that your Dickelgen has this kind of component to be synced. If they ask you, is it mandatory? If they ask you if it is mandatory, if you are not updating the Dickelgen with this column, you don't need to compile your programs. You can add a column to the table. It is not mandatory that you should update the Dickelgen. It's not mandatory to compile. But as a project, guys, project doesn't do half and half work. Table has a column, Dickelgen not have a column. Who will remember? Today you do this kind of change and go away. Tomorrow after 1 year, I join the project. How do I know all this happened? So we don't play in sync scenarios. Your SMA will not agree with that in sync concept. So he will simply say that, yes, if you need a column, add it now and then do this all process. If you don't need now, he will simply say, your SME will simply say, do not add it now, keep a mark of that. In the next change request, we'll update it. But in the interview only they're asking this question. So if the interview asking that column is added and not used, you can say that if it is not used for now, if your SME is agreeing to keep an in-sync system, yes, you don't need to change the Dickelgen. Yes, you don't need to compile your programs. So again, guys, we're going to cover all these interview related questions in short videos. I guess I almost spent 15 minutes. I thought to cover only 10 minutes, but it is almost 15 minutes, right? So yes, we will see it in the next video, guys. Please see the video. If you have any questions, if you want any more explanation in these questions, in the comment you put the question number or you can type the question. Ask your doubt, guys. If I see it, I will respond to that in the chat itself. If I see it, I'll answer it in the video as well, in the next video. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining this particular video. Please see our next videos as well.